Okay, we're going to pick up here at problem number 19 where we've got to graph f minus g. Now, as we saw in the last couple of problems, if we've got an f plus g or an f minus g or an f times g or even an f divided by g, we can only do that where we have both graphs. So the only places I'm going to graph f minus g are between 1, because that's where I have both of them, and 7. Because over at 8 I don't have a G, and over, or maybe I do have it. Yeah, I don't have a G, and I don't have a G over here at 0, so I wouldn't do it there. So it's going to be from 1 to 7, and at 1 it's F minus G. So notice these letters here. So when X is 1, I would have 2, that's the F coordinate, minus negative 2. And 2 minus negative 2 is 4. So at 1, that isn't a very good 4. At 1, I'm going to put a graph at, or a dot at 4. And then there's not really points at 2, so that'd be hard to do. So I'm going to come over here to 3. Remember, it's F minus G. So at F is 0, and then G is 1. So 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So at 3, I'm going to put a point at negative 1. Then there's another point at 5. Looks like to me it's F minus G, so this is about negative half minus 1, which would be negative 1 and a half. So at 5, I'm going to put a dot at negative 1 and a half. And then at 6, F minus G will be 3 minus 2. So at 6, I'm going to put a dot at 1. And then my final point is at 7, and that's going to be 3 minus 1, which is 2. So I'm going to put a graph at 2, and then I'm just going to connect these, and it's really hard to do on a slate. So it would go something like this, and they should be straight lines, not curves. And if we look at our choices, it is going to be B, I believe. That's the only one that's close. C and D are not anywhere close. A is also not. It's not starting up at 4. So the answer is going to be B. Number 20, construct the difference quotient. I think I did this in every single class today, but if you're having trouble with this, my recommendation is look in the previous videos that I've posted. If you'll go to the channel, look up Angela Beeson and find my channel, and look for the video on difference quotient. But to do the difference quotient, you need two things. You need f of x plus h, and you need f of x. They give me f of x. It's 3x plus 5. So if I do f of x plus h, that just means put x plus h where x was. So when I do that, I get 3x plus 3h plus 5. So what I want to do is I want to have f of x plus h, so that's this, 3x plus 3h plus 5, minus f of x, which is this, so minus 3x plus 5, and that's going to be divided by h. So I just simplify and combine my like terms. If I'm subtracting 3x plus 5, it means I'm subtracting 3x and I'm going to subtract 5. Divide by h, the 3x's cancel out, the 5's cancel out, not the h's, the 5's cancel out, and I have 3h divided by h, which is 3. So that's how you use the difference quotient. Number 21, find g of f of negative 17. So what this means is you put negative 17 into f, get an answer, and then put that answer into g. So when I put negative 17 into f, it'd be negative 17 minus 7 over 6. Because here's my f equation. I put negative 17 into f. Negative 17 minus 7 is negative 24, divided by 6 would be negative 4. So now I'm going to take negative 4 and plug it into the g equation. So that's 5 times negative 4 plus 4, which is negative 20, plus 4, my answer would be negative 16. C. Number 22. Moving right along. G of f of negative 9. So I'm going to take negative 9, plug it into f, get an answer, plug that answer into g. So negative 9 minus 9 divided by 9, that's plugging it into f. That'd be negative 18 divided by 9, which is negative 2. Now I'm going to plug negative 2 into g. So 4 times negative 2 plus 6 is negative 8 plus 6, which is negative 2. So my answer would be B. If I'm going too fast, please pause it, go back and watch it again. I'm just trying to get through all of these, and and give you a framework where you can have something you can go back and check. 23, same idea. Plug -5 into G this time, and then plug that answer into F. So first I'm going to plug into G. So -2 times -5 squared minus 3 times -5 minus 4. Okay, -5 squared is a positive 25 times -2 is -50. Minus 3 times -5 would be plus 15, and then minus 4. So this becomes -39. -50 plus 15 is -35, minus 4 is -39. So I'm going to plug -39 into the F equation. So it's 5 times -39 plus 1. Let me go to the calculator and do it a little bit quicker than my head. 5 times -39, 5 times -39 is -195. So it'd be -195 plus 1, which is -194. So my answer would be D. All right, number 24, f of g of x means just take the g of x equation, this one, and put it in for x in f. So instead of 4 times x plus 15, it becomes 4 times 3x minus 1 plus 15. Distribute, that would be 12x minus 4 plus 15, which is 12x plus 11. So my answer is D. 25, g of f of x means that I'm going to take f and put it over here where x was in g. So instead of 7 times x minus 4, it becomes 7 times 2 over x to the fourth, not minus 4, to the fourth. So I got to kind of simplify this a little bit. So that's 7 times 2 over x to the fourth is 2 to the fourth, which is 16 over x to the fourth. And 7 times 16 is 112 over x to the fourth. Remember, 7 would be like 7 over 1. So 7 times 16 gives you your top number. 1 times x to the fourth gives you your bottom number. So my answer is B, 112 over x to the fourth. Do a couple more. 26, find the domain of f of g. So f of g means I'm going to put g into f. So instead of 5x plus 35, it becomes 5 times x plus 5. Plus 35. I'm not even going to simplify this because all they want is the domain. After I distribute and combine like terms, I'm still not going to have a denominator and I'm not going to have a square root. So my domain is from negative infinity to positive infinity. All right, number 27, find the domain of f of g. So I'm going to put g into f right there where x was. Instead of 10 over x plus 3, it's going to be 10 over, I'm going to put that where x was, x plus 1 plus 3, which is 10 over x plus 4. Now looking at this, it does have a denominator, so I got to worry about what can x not be. Well, x plus 4 can't be 0, which means x cannot be negative 4. Now they're going to write that in interval notation, so it's from negative infinity to negative 4 with a parentheses, and then from negative 4 to infinity, which is going to be C. Do not answer D. The bracket means it can touch negative 4, and it cannot be negative 4 because then you'd be dividing by 0. So make sure you've got parentheses by the negative 4. That's an easy miss, and that's 4 points, and you don't want to miss the 4 points on something easy like that. All right, number 28, determine if the graph is symmetric with respect to the x-axis, the y-axis, and or the origin. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. So if you'll look, this y-axis, if I could draw a straight line, is splitting this graph in half. So this is symmetric to the y-axis. All right, next one. This is symmetric to the, here is my x-axis, they tell me right here, x-axis. So this is, if you'll look, this is splitting it in half. If I folded it over, it would match. The x-axis is called my line of symmetry. And number 30, well, let's look. Does the y-axis split it in half? Looks like it to me. What about the x-axis? Yep, that splits it in half too. And what if I turn this upside down? It would be all three, the x-axis, the y-axis, and the origin. Get a couple more in here. What if I have the point 1.5, negative 1.75, and I want to make it symmetric to the y-axis? Okay, kind of plot this point a little bit. 1.5, negative 1.75. I'm going to write it right here. and I may not have it exact, but I just kind of know where it is. You're going to need to graph these questions. If I want to reflect this over the y-axis, it's going to go right over here, which would change my x coordinate. Instead of 1.5, it's going to be negative 1.5. The y coordinate is still going to be negative 1.75. That doesn't look like a 7. So it's negative 1.5, negative 1.75. B. All right. What if I want to take, okay, I'm going to pause this here and I'm going to pick up with 32 in the next video.